Hi and welcome to MJT's Wycombe Wanderers Plus, and here we are again. Welcome my friends to the show that just never ends, and we're looking at Group C and Group D this morning, and just a couple of little facts at the end there. Now, Kieran, we got Group C, which is this is really fun, this group. I mean, this has got pure class, Group C. I mean, we're all going to be there watching our TV screens for Ukraine, Netherlands, Austria and North Macedonia, aren't we? Group D, oh dear. Does your heart start pulling? England, Croatia, Czech Republic and Scotland. Well, we all know which one's coming last, don't we? Scotland. Okay, not that I'm biased. Up until, no, we did that. Right, Group C, down this group, do I need to say is very, very poor? I don't really need to say that, do I? Holland, haven't seen them since the World Cup in 2014. They've had a shocker of a time for the last 7 years. But what we got here, Frank de Boer in charge. He doesn't have Van Dijk, as we know, so he's in trouble with that. Who else is missing? Also in midfield, De Jong. He's got them, hasn't he? Jong and Wijnaldum.
His name is not Jong, it's De Jong. Come on, buddy.
I do it on purpose.
Jong, blimey.
And but here we have, what have you got? Well, you got De Jong, who often plays.
De Jong.
That's what I said.
Not a J, it's a Y.
Okay, Jong.
De Jong,
so
yeah.
He plays a bit further back, and the other one, Wijnaldum.
Wijnaldum. Is
often given a much more attacking role for Holland than he gets for Liverpool. You'll see him a bit further up the front. Depay up front, he's dangerous. He's scored 20 goals this season. Not sure how he will play him against weaker teams, though. He plays a 4-3-3, possible 5 at the back against stronger. Home advantage, he has all 3 games qualifying at home. What would you like to talk about Holland? Anything?
I mean, in saying that they don't have Van Dijk, obviously it's a big miss. He is their captain. However, in terms of centre-backs, they're not exactly on the edge. They still have £50 million Nathan Ake from Man City. They still have £75 million De Ligt from Juventus and £40 million De Vrij from Inter Milan. So it's not like they're struggling too much in that department.
No,
so really, it's not. It is an excuse, but it's not that big an excuse in terms of their attacking play. De Jong from Barca obviously is a big player for them, and Van der Beek from United, Wijnaldum from Liverpool. I imagine those will be the 3 midfielders. All very, very decent, especially on their day. Like, quite honestly, if that midfield was in the Premier League for a team, would probably be the best midfield in the league. That's how good it is, I would say.
They don't have a problem, do they?
No, the only problem is that Depay is the only one up front.
Yeah, Leon.
They have Luke de Jong from Sevilla, but he's not gonna win you a Euros.
You see what I meant when I said on Monday about the lack of number 9s, the lack of strikers.
There aren't many.
There aren't. England are one of the few with a bog standard striker. The others are lacking, and a lot of their goals from these other teams are going to be relying on midfield to score all their goals. Next team, Ukraine, 4-3-3, possible 5 at the back against stronger, which seems Yeah, like Holland, their strength is in the centre midfields. They got Stepanenko, you know, this is so hard work. Zinch,
Is
Zinchenko,
Zinchenko
Malin,
from Man City?
yes, Malinowski. Main striking threat, left winger, come forward is Roman Yamuchik.
Yeah,
Um,
I'll give you that.
the Ukraine had one of the best records in qualification. They were unbeaten in their group, and that included Portugal and Serbia. So don't write them off. Actually, they ended up with an awful lot of clean sheets, and they ended up in the top 6 seeds in this tournament.
Hmm.
So don't write them off. You think Ukraine are no good, but since then they did lose 4-0 to Spain, which possibly gives you a slightly better clue. Difficult to say. I mean, these are dark horse team. I think we don't know what we're going to get, do we?
I mean, in terms of names that everyone will know, Yarmolenko from West Ham and Zinchenko from Man City, I believe, are the only two. Everyone else comes from Shakhtar Donetsk or Dynamo Kiev, effectively.
They are.
Um,
That's true. Yes.
so, I mean, that could help them in the terms of the fact that all the players come from the same teams and they might already have the chemistry, all that kind of thing.
Dynamo Kiev. They're all from Dynamo.
They are Dynamo and Shakhtar. That's where they're all from. So it's hard to say because we don't know a lot about many of their players at all. But they could, in terms of getting out of this group, they very much could do that. Actually, they're probably expected to do that.
Yeah, there's only 3 players out of the whole 26-man squad that don't come from those 2 teams.
Um, one, two. I think there's five. There's a
Five.
couple. There's a couple of strikers who come from. Uh, there's one from
Oh, yes.
Pro One,
Yes.
and
But that's amazing. That's amazing.
but
But
most of them are from there.
so they're you know, Austria. Well, we saw Austria. They haven't won a game at a major tournament since 1990. They do have a classy halfback in Alaba, but the manager, Franco Foda, hasn't found him a position. His problem is that he looks their classiest player,
Mm.
but he's got nowhere to play him. So he's played in the last 3 games left back, centre mid, and left midfield. But for Bayern Munich, he plays centre back.
I mean, he's a weird one because he's always played left back prior to this season and last for Bayern Munich, and he's always played CDM for Austria because they want him to be able to pull the strings because he is their classiest player and he is one of the ones who can make something happen. However, evidently, they don't know what to do with him.
No, they just don't have a clue.
I think they should just go plain simple and play him left back or centre back. Don't try and mess it around too much. That it just causes problems.
The one of their most exciting players as well is Sasa Kalajic.
Yeah.
Yeah, he plays for Stuttgart. 16 goals in 32 matches. He's 6'7". 6'7". I mean, blimey. And surprise, surprise, out of the 16 goals, 8 were headers. Well, there's a shock.
Has to be said, I would give them more chance seeing Arnautovic up front for them, who played for West Ham, was very decent. Apart from the fact that he now plays in China and obviously isn't really interested too much in football. So,
What you mean? If you play in China, you're not interested in football? You don't play in China.
I don't play in China because I like football. He evidently just wants this thing called money. So, unfortunately, I don't think they're going to be doing too much.
Right, so you've written them off then, Austria.
Yeah,
Yeah, North Macedonia. Now
how the
here's your favourites for the cup. Yeah,
blimey?
they don't have a deep squad. Oh, what a surprise! Uh, they're missing their major player. I mean, that's a bit of a bummer, really, when your best player is going to be pretty small anyway. And that's their striker. Oh, again, and it's Nestorov. Now, let me get this. Nestorovsky. Yeah, I think that, and that has been a major blow. Whatever system they play, they will use the same 11 players. Whatever they do, whenever he changes from a 3-4-5 back, 2 in midfield, 3 in midfield, he still uses the same 11 players. He's got no choice. Is
No,
his problem. He's got 11 that can kick a ball, and they're in. There's no question. The manager, Angelovsky, sometimes uses the overlapping right back, Ritsovsky, to tuck in and make the third centre back, and uses the box to box midfielder, Zikolov, to move out and become the right wing back. I mean, he basically just has these pieces, and just wherever they go, they go. Bit of a bummer, really. Their serious attacking options is a guy called Pandev, usually plays at number 10, but will probably be their centre forward. But he's not scored a goal for 2 years.
no. Isn't he getting on a bit as well?
He's getting on a bit. And to have your main striker as somebody who doesn't score goals is not helpful. They've got a guy called Bardi who plays, and he's good at free kicks, and that has to be what they're going to be relying on. Get a free kick. As long as you don't give them any free kicks around the box, you can't lose.
No.
Is what I'm saying. So, Kieran, they're your teams. So let's look at Group C then. Ukraine, Netherlands, Austria, or North Macedonia in order, please.
Has to be Netherlands, Ukraine, Austria, North Macedonia. Surely.
Difficult to suggest any other way. And now we come to Group D. Won't spend too much time on England. That's a separate subject and one to cry over. 26-man teams with 5 subs. 6 if there's extra time. Now, this means you're trying to work out who gets through coming third is very difficult. Most of these teams can play a lot bigger rotation. You can win 2 and get through. You can win just 1 game and get a draw and get through. So very, very difficult to suggest who's going to get through and who isn't as the third team. We've got England. We'll discuss England at maybe a bit closer
Later date.
time. So that's a full one, isn't it? Scotland. We'll get a quickie on Scotland. Clark. Few, if any, players would get into the England team. Would you say that's a fair comment?
I would say 1.
And that is
Robertson.
okay. What about McTominay?
No. No. He's getting the squad, I think. Wouldn't get in the team.
Okay. And you've also got Fleck in there and Armstrong. That's not the Armstrong from the Championship who came second in quantity of goals. This is another Armstrong.
Southampton.
Yeah. And then they have a guy called David Turnbull, who's Celtic's player of the season. But so what? Is that a fair comment?
They did finish however many points behind Rangers in a pretty crappy league, arguably.
Up front, they got a guy called Che Adams. Now, he's a strange one. He decided he was tartan in March. They asked him would he like to join, and he decided he'd have a funny accent and wear skirts.
I mean, he gets to go to Euros now, I suppose.
He does, so he's there. The other up front ones are Lyndon Dykes,
Yep, from QPR.
and Ryan Fraser, who often plays as number 10. This is going to probably be a three-man defence because his two best players are left back Kieran Tierney and Andrew Robertson, as you've already mentioned, and he plays old Kieran as left centre back, and Andrew Robertson will play higher up the pitch. You won't see him doing what he does at Liverpool, as in playing as a fullback. You won't see that. He won't use him like that.
No.
Because of lack of players in the midfield, I would suggest.
Well, it is the manager just trying to fit in his best players in one way or another, isn't it?
That's
what that is.
It is. Croatia, Zlatko Dalic is the manager. Similar to 3 years ago, this team, that's the team. He's picked the same team as 3 years ago. The trouble is, that's when they peaked. And now the age of the defenders, they're knocking on a bit. They're missing a few now. I'm afraid this isn't the team. Well, it is. It is the team from 3 years ago. He hasn't been able to up it. It's sort of just an aging old team with a few missing. They'll try to dominate the possession with two starts, but the two starters that will always be on there, of course, is Modric and Brozovic. Again, best six players all in the midfield. You can't play six players in the midfield. So with the 5 subs, you'll see all the subs in the midfield. He'll have 3 in there, pull those 3 off, put the other 3 on. There is 6 best players. So he's in trouble. Kramaric will be up front with Petkovic, and they have a wild card guy called Orsic, who scored a hat-trick against Spurs in the Europa League, as all Spurs fans will remember. They got 2 decent wingers, but their biggest weak point are their fullbacks. Any comments on Croatia? I like the kit.
I'm assuming that he must have retired from internationals, but I don't see any Rakitic, who was for Barcelona, now for Sevilla. But they do have Kovacic from Chelsea instead. As you've already said, Kovacic, Modric, Perisic.
They're all in midfield.
They're all in midfield. Centre backs, I remember being pretty good in the last World Cup when they got to the final. Vida from Besiktas and Lovren, surprisingly, from Zenit, who were both decent. It's a decent squad, which, I mean, as we know, somehow got to a World Cup final, but I'm not sure it's going to happen twice.
No.
Does seem unlikely. But they do have some solid players that mean that they could, or they should definitely get through.
And the reason they might get through is because of Scotland and this last team, the Czech Republic. Now, these are a bit of a strange team, I have to say. The Czech Republic are going to be, don't think on TV, oh, that one's going to be boring. When you come to a name like the Czech Republic, because this team is very fun. Okay, this team reminds me of Leeds, but without anybody that can score. Okay, so probably more like, in fact, Brighton, in that they're very energetic, they're very full of enthusiasm, they're full of runners, but they don't have number 9s. Everybody on the pitch attacks, but nobody that can score the goal. There's name that we would all recognise on there, and that's Thomas Souček, West Ham player. And their two fullbacks both do what Liverpool do. You won't find them defending. You'll find them over the halfway line. Snag is they don't have the centre backs to defend for them. So if they're not there, nobody's there. And that's what makes it very entertaining. Either they're belting a ball at the goal in the hope that one might go in, or one's going in at the other end. The quality in their defence is missing, but the game to watch has to be Scotland versus the Czech Republic. If you want to pick a game out that will be entertaining, that's the one I would pick out. Name them in order, Kieran. This is difficult.
I mean, it's got to be hopeful that England do win the group. For some reason, I'd quite like to see Scotland beat Croatia. And I think they might, purely because Croatia's team is an aging team. I'll go Scotland, England, Scotland, Croatia, Czech Republic. Why not?
Why not? Well, Scotland can beat the Czech Republic and they can draw against Croatia. Why not? I don't see any reason that couldn't happen. I think there's enough in Scotland.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll take the Mickey, but I think there's enough.
Do they draw? They drew 2-2 with the Netherlands the other day, which isn't a bad result.
Yeah. And to finish, a couple of other little most capped players at the tournament is Ronaldo with 173 capped players for his team, followed by Modric with 137, Moutinho,
from Portugal as well.
He's got 130, Larson 128, Hamsik at 126. Now, where do we go to find an England player?
Who would it be?
We're not there. We're not on the list. And our team goes down to 100 and we're not on the list.
I'm trying to think who was our most capped player, though. Might be Henderson. Henderson or Kane? Or Sterling, maybe?
Okay, now, most best rate of goals per cap. Any idea?
It's going to be Ronaldo, is it not?
No. Gnabry? Is it Gnabry?
Gnabry for Germany.
Yeah, it's him, actually. He scored 15 out of 21 caps at a rate of 0.71.
Fair.
That's not bad. Lukaku's third. Kane is fourth with 34 goals out of 54 games at a rate of 0.63. So that's not too bad. And just to sort of finish off bits and pieces, who do you think is the oldest team?
Italy.
No, it's Turkey, followed by England. England are one of the oldest teams there.
Sure.
Yeah, we have an average of 24.
What, and that's one of the oldest? You don't mean the youngest, do you?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I mean, yes. Sorry. Oh, could knock
I was
this bit
going to
out.
say.
Could knock this bit out, couldn't we? So, in fact, yeah. So the youngest is England. Isn't that amazing? We could nip through all the teams, but we're not going to, because I think we might have done enough. But just to say that in group, which group are we in? Group C in England's group,
which is Group D.
Which is Group D. I'm losing it, aren't I? It's because I'm trying to do this at the same time.
Losing your marbles,
Group
mate.
D. Right. Croatia, average age is 27, and the average caps is 34. The Czech Republic, average age is 27, average caps is only 20.
Can't imagine ours is much higher, though.
England, average age is 24.8, with the second youngest team there, but the average caps is 20.4.
That's not much higher at all, then, is it?
Very low, isn't it?
And realistically, the players who are going to be playing aren't going to be ones who don't have many caps at all.
Well, Scotland are even worse. Although their average age is 26.9, the average caps is 17.2. So, in fact, are they the lowest? They might be the lowest average amount of caps. They might be the lowest. So, with that, we're going to give that a miss, and Friday we'll come back to groups E and F. And of course, the games start on Friday. Please join us on the, it was the Monday Night Football Show, but now it's the Monday, Wednesday and Friday football show. They do go out whenever I can manage on those days. Won't be in the evenings. It'll be whenever I can press the buttons and get them sorted. And we'll be here for probably the next 3 weeks. 3 weeks, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
It is something like that. Please join us. And as we say, please leave your comments down the bottom. We'd be fascinated to know what you think and who you think are going to win. I'll sort these out very shortly on Friday, and we'll put our chart of who's going through to the next group, next round, and who's playing who on Friday. Okay, thank you very much. So Kieran, say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.